Alright, welcome back to Shibuya Scramble. Last time we were met with a very dire choice, but I think I've managed to figure out a way to do this. You know what? I think we're just gonna have to pray that we wind up with something edible, so... Honestly, I just kind of want to see what happens, so we're gonna go with this choice for now. If it turns out to be a horrible mistake, then we'll deal with that when it comes. For now, he'd just have to pray he wound up with something edible. Kajiwara peered into the refrigerator. "Goodness, you are remarkably understocked," he said. "Let's see, could you please put these in the dinger, Mr. Osawa?" I assume he's referring to the microwave. Yep, named for the sound of a microwave oven makes when it has finished heating your food. The microwave at my house doesn't really go ding when the timer reaches 0, though. It's more just a beep, but it doesn't make sense to call a microwave a beeper when that's already a word that refers to something else. Good point. Like, my microwave does not ding either, but... I think dinger, like, things that make a ding sound are more often like ovens than microwaves. Yeah, because I would think a dinger would actually refer more to like a toaster oven or a toaster or just a regular oven than an actual microwave. I don't know. The detective handed Osawa some frozen lumps of rice. The dinger? What the heck is a dinger? The microwave oven, sir. Osawa stepped in front of the microwave. Unfortunately, he had no idea how to work the controls. Oh, come on. You don't even know how to work a microwave? You should thaw that rice out as soon as possible, Kajiwara told him. I'm actually not sure how to operate this thing. What? The detective gasped. You don't know how to use a microwave? You know, for once I'm with Kajiwara on this one. Osawa could only nod in silent shame. It should be as simple as turning the dial. Wait, which one? That one, sir. The one on the right. Osawa turned the dial and crossed his arms with a satisfied grin. Like, are things not labeled in Japan? Do things not have, like... Do things not say, like, turn this dial to cook? Like, I don't know. I would think that the dials that you were supposed to use would be labeled. Mr. Osawa, you need to put the rice in first before you do that. Well, then why didn't you say that? Osawa snapped. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't have a clue how to use this microwave either, but that's only because I can't read a word on it. Although I'm pretty sure it says rice goes in for something like 20 seconds, maybe? I've never worked in a kitchen in my life. Don't ask me to do things that are this difficult. Very well, I'll handle this from here. Why don't you get out the bowls and the chopsticks then, sir? I have no idea where the hell those are kept. Kajiwara let out a heavy sigh. Alright then, please just sit and wait, sir, he said. And here, take this. Kajiwara pulled out a sheet of bubble wrap from his pocket. Use your fingers to pop the bubbles. That should help you calm down. Too drained to argue, Osawa did as prompted, starting to pop his way along the sheet. Rather than calm him down, though, it was making him incredibly cross. It felt more like a sort of ridiculous punishment. They say you could learn a lot about a household by looking in the fridge, you know. Kajiwara was cooking something in a frying pan. And, Osawa asked, just what have you learned about mine? I'd better not say, sir. You might take offense. I mean, just saying that much is enough. Osawa snapped another bubble between his fingers. Ah, the rice is finished thawing. Kajiwara topped the steaming bowl of rice with the fried egg he'd whipped up in his pan. Then, as if it were an afterthought, he added some pickled vegetables. Here you are, sir. Your fried egg on rice is complete. I mean, it's not something I would eat, but it looks like it was made competently, at least. So it's probably something that Osawa should be fine with. One of Kajiwada's simple recipes. Others include his white spaghetti, which is simply spaghetti that's been flavored with butter, salt, and pepper after it's been boiled. Both are a bit too basic to be properly called cuisine, but it does take a certain skill to bring the best flavor out of the ingredients with such simple seasonings. Kajiwada grinned from ear to ear. Go ahead and eat it while it's still warm. Osawa received the bowl with a dubious look. You aren't very good at cooking, are you? All you had in your refrigerator were eggs and pickled vegetables, sir. I assure you, it's quite delicious. I recommend breaking the yolk and mixing it all together. Reluctantly, Osawa brought a bite to his mouth. That's good. Yeah, I kind of figured it would be. The words came out almost unbidden. Isn't it just? Egg yolk and pickled vegetables pair quite well. I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't care to know. Osawa couldn't help but stuff his face, slipping into a rapturous daze as he did. The more he ate, the more it stirred his appetite. I had no idea fried eggs could be this delicious. I know you probably have a long ordeal still ahead of you, sir, but please keep your chin up and hang in there. Kajiwada gave Osawa an amiable smile. Ah, that's right, he continued. And for dessert, we have bananas. No, thank you. Kajiwada grimaced as Osawa held up a hand in refusal. Right then, when you're finished eating, would you please wash the bowl? Me? Wash dishes? Osawa exclaimed in surprise, sounding like a petulant child. Like, dude, I get it that you don't do this every day, but this is kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Like, it's not an everyday situation. There's no need to get all in a twist about it. If someone else cooks for you, then you should do the cleaning up. It's only polite. Fine, okay. While Osawa was doing the dishes, the bug detector went off again. Director, if you have a moment. Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've got something urgent to discuss with you. So, I wonder how we would actually get through there. Because we can't do him. Oh! Achi. We've still got him. I forgot all about him. Well, alright then. I thought we were locked here, but I guess we're not. So, let's keep going with Hachi then. Alright, I think we've laid low long enough, Hachi said at last. Think we should be on our way? He was about to get to his feet when he heard voices outside the storeroom again. Yikes, that was pretty careless of us. Yeah, we definitely gotta watch it. The theater guys from earlier had returned. Actually, it seems like I've already read all this, so let's move all the way here. This is all my fault, Hachi said. It was my idea to hide out here in the first place. He bowed to Hitomi repeatedly. We're never going to be able to find that blue minivan now. Guess we'll have to get someone on the outside to help us, Hitomi replied. She scowled thoughtfully. They powered their phones back up in order to call for help. Oh, Hitomi chirped. That's me. She took a look at the LCD display. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. I think this is different from last time. I don't know what exactly we changed, but I think that's good. Ah, okay. Hitomi began typing out a response with practiced ease. Oh, you know what? I bet you one of the other choices that we could have made there would maybe have caused, like, Tanaka to lose his phone or be too busy to answer her call or something. So maybe if we'd had Tanaka make us lunch or something, then that's what would have happened. More wild delusions rose in Achi's mind. Ideas or fantasies conjured up in one's mind with no logical or factual basis. People can become deluded for varying reasons about a whole host of different subjects. Thankfully, Achi's delusions here are of an ultimately harmless sort. Oh god. Stealing a quick glance at Hitomi, he noticed her gazing happily at her phone screen. His delusions ran even more wild. I mean, I don't know, that was a pretty... That look is definitely not something that you would think is just, I don't know, her happy that she got a response. But I think she probably has more of a, like, a familial relationship with Mr. Tanaka. He's probably, like, almost something of a caretaker for her, because her dad probably neglects her way too much. While he was still fretting furiously, Hitomi finished typing her response. So, what do you wind up saying? Achi asked. I explained the situation. That we're trapped in a storeroom, we've got some guys chasing after you, and you're looking for some van? Yes, I also asked him to please keep this a secret from my family and the police. Whoever this Tanaka guy was, Hitomi seemed to put a lot of trust in him. A short while later, Hitomi's phone chimed with a reply. She checked the screen in a flash, all eagerness. Achi couldn't help but ask, so, what's that Tanaka guy have to say? I mean, I don't see the harm in asking, so let's try that for now. Achi couldn't help but ask, so, what's that Tanaka guy have to say? A hint of jealousy slipped into his voice. He says he's going to try to find the minivan for us. Huh? If he just comes and let us out, I can go look for it myself. He says he wants us to hide out here a little longer. Oh, what the hell? Seriously? He says that if someone's after me, it's safer to stay where we are. I mean, he does kind of have a point, except that we know that, whoever's after us can track us wherever we go, for some reason, so... Yeah, I'm out of the running, Achi thought to himself. This Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her, and there was really only one reason a middle-aged man would think like that. Alright, fine. We'll wait. Achi turned his own phone off, then slumped back in a huff. I don't think that was actually a good choice. I don't think we want his phone off. So I think I'm actually going to go back and... Well, actually, if this is a game over, then I want to get it, so let's just keep going. After 20 more minutes in the storeroom, the two were sitting in silence. Achi had run out of things to talk about. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy. Susumu, I think it was? Hitomi's question caught Achi off guard. He stammered, unsure how to respond. Hitomi shook her head. I'm so sorry. I barely know you. That was insensitive of me. No, it's alright. I mean, sometimes I wish things could go back to the way they used to be, Achi said. He let out a tiny sigh. What that Kiryu guy said was the truth. I was the guy who founded SOS. Do you know what I mean by that? Hitomi gave a slight nod. I mean, I never wanted to be in charge of a gang or anything, but I knew that if I left, SOS would just fall apart. And I didn't want everyone else to get all caught up over who would take my place, you know? So I thought long and hard about it, looking for a way for folks to stay friends even after I was gone. The loud voice echoed through the pool hall that served as SOS HQ, an establishment for playing pool, more formally known as pocket billiards. This particular place is a pool bar serving alcohol. The standard pool table is rectangular in shape, sports 6 pockets, 4 in the corners and 1 in the middle of each long side, and supports multiple games including 9-ball, 8-ball, and rotation. There are also tables without pockets. The style is known as carom billiards. What do you mean you're leaving? Susumu was positively red in the face. You're our founder, Achi. You can't just up and quit. Susumu had been almost like a younger brother to Achi. If anyone was going to try to stop him, Achi knew full well it would be Susumu. Look, I'm not gang leader material. All I've been trying to do is make sure we're all able to have fun. Well, that's not true, Susumu said. Think about all that stuff you taught us. Don't you remember? Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Those are your words, Achi. Did I say that? It's the heaviest thing you've ever said. Then, to Achi's consternation, Susumu got down on his hands and knees. I'm begging you, please, don't leave. Without you, SOS is nothing. Achi could feel his conviction waver. I'm begging you here, from one man to another. This is my one request. Susumu, I'm sorry. Achi could barely croak out the words. I'm leaving you in charge. You can't, Susumu pleaded. Please, don't say that. Achi turned his back to him in silence. Please, Achi, why won't you listen? I can't possibly beg you any harder than this. Enough with all the request nonsense, Achi grimaced. What? Look at you, down on your hands and knees like that. Pathetic. Ultimately stems from the Greek pathetikos, meaning subject to feeling or capable of emotion. Over time, the meaning changed to signify exciting the passions, and later on to the more modern sense of arousing one's pity. That makes sense, with like the word pathos and everything. Achi spoke as harshly as he could, fighting to mask his true feelings. I'm fed up with you. All of you. With each word out of his mouth, Achi could feel his own heart breaking. Yeah, this was not the right way to leave at all. But if he could make the others hate him, at least it would give SOS a reason to stay together. How can you say that? Don't you try and pull that crap. Susumu's tone had changed from sadness to anger. Fine then, he railed. I'm never asking you for anything again. I'll do what you want. I'll take the reins of SOS. Achi walked away, waving vaguely without looking back. Good luck. I mean it. Once he'd stepped out of the pool hall, he wiped his sleeve across his face. It came away wet with tears. Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys and we could go back to the good old days again. But that's never gonna happen, not unless Suzune gets better. He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he'd sorted out how he felt about his former pals. Is there nothing that can help your sister? Hitomi asked. She needs a heart transplant, and the problem with heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. The act of surgically implanting one's person's heart into another body. Such an operation is typically only performed on a patient with severe heart disease who cannot survive without a new heart. There are strict requirements that must be met before a heart can be transplanted. However, chief among them that the donor must first be brain dead. Makes sense. Okay. Well, actually, I feel like if somebody was willing to give a heart, even if they weren't brain dead, they should be allowed, but Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be performed within 4 hours, or things get dicey. Because lack of oxygen causes damage, referred to warm ischemia damage, in any organ removed from a human body. A transplant must be carried out and blood circulation restored within a certain time window, known as the total ischemic time. In the case of our heart transplant, total ischemic time is only 4 hours. Helicopters and charter jets are frequently used to rapidly transport hearts for such operations. I know this takes place in the past, a little bit, but I wonder if they have like, better ways of storing body parts now. You'd think that they'd have a way to keep oxygen flowing to a heart or something. Like, have it, like, hooked up to some... I'm not gonna say, like, fake human, but I don't know, like, some kind of, like, lab-grown, I don't know, just vessel of some sort. But maybe we're not quite there yet. I don't know. Oh, wow. I didn't realize. Someone with a heart that's a match for Suzune would need to die somewhere near her. Somewhere they could perform the surgery within that 4-hour window. The odds of that happening are so small it would almost be a miracle, which is what my sister's been waiting for. Yeah, praying for somebody to die is a little bit kind of a cruel miracle to be waiting for, unfortunately. Achi thumped the left side of his chest. If my heart would do the trick, I'd gladly let her have it. Damn it. And I've got a strong heart, too. He thumped himself on the chest again and again. He didn't mention it to Hitomi, but Suzune's blood type made finding her a heart transplant even more difficult. She had Bombay blood. I don't know what that is. A type of blood that does not correspond to the more common types of ABO or AB. In some instances, a standard blood typing yields a result of O in such individuals. First discovered in the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, on India's west coast. The blood type takes its name from the city, or from that city, due to its relatively high incidence rate among the inhabitants. I've actually never heard of that. I'm sure it's a thing, but I guess I don't really know much about blood types anyway. It was one of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently there were only a few dozen people in all of Japan who had it. Rare blood types such as Bombay are scarce enough that even nationwide blood centers seldom have them in sufficient supply. For this reason, when such blood types are discovered in everyday testing, samples are quickly taken to be frozen and stored at temperatures lower than 80 degrees below centigrade. If Suzune were ever to receive a heart transplant, it would need to be from somebody who also had Bombay blood. Achi? Hitomi sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Wow, she must really feel bad for Suzune. If you did manage to find a heart for your sister, what would you do? What do you mean? Say, if you happen across someone who was a donor match. I would do anything. Oh, that's not good. Anything. Yeah, whatever it took. I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. But I think that that's honestly him just not even really understanding the implications of what he's saying. I don't think that he would actually kill somebody. I don't think he has it in him. But he would do anything. He would, like, get on his knees and beg. He would do, I don't know. I feel like he would do anything to make it happen. Anything within his power is what he's saying. I mean, at that point, I'd assume God had granted me a miracle or something, you know? Mr. Tanaka. Unfortunately for these two, it's not Mr. Tanaka. Right now, Tanaka is at the Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch. Alright, so we can now move over there, which we should do. So, let's do that real quick. I'd like to actually keep going with Achi, but I think we should take this jump while we can. I've got something urgent to discuss with you. Yes, of course. Osawa took the bug tracker from his pocket and handed it back to Kajiwara. I won't be needing this anymore. As soon as they had left the kitchen, Tanaka leaned in close and whispered to him. I wonder if it's Tanaka who has the bug on him then, if the bug tracker is responding. I got an email from Hitomi. He showed his cell phone to Osawa. It looks like my sister is being held captive in a blue minivan somewhere in Shibuya. That man is still chasing me, so I can't really go looking for it. A blue minivan. Allow me to handle this, sir. I'll figure something out. Osawa knew he trusted Tanaka for a reason. Thank you, he said with a bow. No, you wouldn't happen to know any place she might have gone, do you, sir? What? It's just that all she's told me is that she's been moving around. I'm sorry. I don't really have any idea, Osawa replied. That is not what she said, or not what she told Achi, that she told him, so that's interesting. He was ashamed to say it. There wasn't a single place he knew of where his daughter might be inclined to go. Ah, I see. Tanaka, picking up on his discomfort, was visibly embarrassed himself. He hastened to change the subject. By the way, how did your talk with Mr. Makino go? I confirmed that he was behind the human testing, but I don't know who sent me those emails. Tanaka paused for a moment and thought. Looked like he might have a hunch. Alright then, he said. We'll have to talk in more detail later. With that, the assistant director headed for the front door. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara spoke from the kitchen door. Peeping in on me again, huh? Osawa grumbled. Thankfully, it didn't appear that the detective had overheard his conversation with Tanaka, but you should assume that he had. Good grief, that thing is noisy. If it's broken, why don't you just throw it out? The sounds from the bug tracker grew fainter and fainter. Something wasn't right, Osawa now realized. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara said, this is my bug tracker. So, Osawa huffed. What I mean is, sir, this one isn't broken. What? A chill ran up Osawa's spine. He swallowed audibly. I pinpointed the source of the signal, Kajiwara said. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka. No, Osawa thought. I must have misheard that. Hold on, say that again. I've located the source of the signal. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka, the detective repeated. This time, Osawa heard him crystal clear. I'm certain of it. Mr. Tanaka has a listening device on him. Osawa felt the blood draining from his face. If someone had been listening in on the conversation just now, then they'd heard about the email from Hitomi. That is not good at all. If the kidnappers were the ones listening, that meant Maria's life was now in danger. I'll go after him, sir. Kajiwara broke into a sprint. Osawa followed close behind. Are we gonna get a to be continued here? Yeah. Just when things were getting interesting. Alright. Well. Next time we're gonna continue on with Achi here. So. Let's just go into the first save point, actually. We can keep going. There we go. It just saved, so. So we can now quit, and next time, we'll continue on here. So until then, take care, and I will see you then.